Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Well, let's have a look at Wilson Audio. That's a company that makes speakers. I would say that this is a company that makes speaker sound on a mid to high level sound level. I'm saying mid because they have some lower models that are quite a bit behind compared to their highest models. So that's why I took mid. So I don't want to offend any of you guys. Just want to clarify that. So, yeah, interesting, very interesting brand, and it it's hard to describe. You kind of have to live with it to know it truly for what it is. I haven't owned Wilson Audio because I'm not rich, but I've heard it quite a bit of times on different gear, and you would be surprised how much better it suddenly sounds on gear like Negra and Spectral. I would not want to listen to Wilson Audio speakers generally on regular gear. You have to have some pretty high level gear in order to feed this monster the sound that it needs. But it can also sound pretty good on normal hi-fi gear like Macintosh, Echoface, Past Labs, Mark Levinson, stuff like that. It can still sound pretty awesome and cool on that. It's very intelligent. It does a lot of impressive micro and macro detail. You can really tell that they use a lot of time on building these speakers, tuning them in, and creating a certain type of sound that is very solid, that goes very deep. And it's very 3D in its own way. I find it to be very, very, very focused on the technical part of the music. I think that a lot of people in the world will absolutely love Wilson Audio, and I definitely think you should try it. So technically, it's really, really, really impressive. Now let's go on to the negative side here. So let's just have a look at the speakers. There's one thing I don't really understand about Wilson, and that's the choice of colors that you have. I feel that generally the color choices are very poor. And you can of course have this fabric on and so, but they're very boxy, masculine, and not really my kind of taste. And I don't feel that it's very wife friendly. So, but that's their style. I can't really fault them for that. But let's get over to the minus side. I find that the cabinets are very dead, very hard, very heavy, and for me that makes the sound very ugly and almost disgusting, but still kind of good. And you shouldn't misinterpret what I say. It's the kind of thing that a lot of people like, including myself. When you have Spectral and Negra type of gear on it, it just gets a lot better, the sound. So much detail. And I could easily own a set of really high level Wilson Audio speakers for like 50 years because it's just so crazy, the detail. There is a lot of individual detail that's very impressive. I just find that price wise, it's just ludicrous having to pay this type of money for that type of sound. I just find it almost stupid. But yeah, they're kind of going for this exclusive type of market, and they have opened themselves up for the cheaper market. They have done that recently. So I just feel that it's impersonal, mechanical, forced, unnatural, and it just doesn't have the rare stuff that really keeps things together. It's still too focused on the technical aspect, and that's just the thing. It feels like it's lacking human frailty, aesthetics, a sort of faulty type of sound that makes it convincingly natural, and where it can really display femininity on a proper level. I feel that everything it does is kind of done in this almost psychotic, numb, masculine tone. I wouldn't say like Donald Trump, but people that have a problem showing weakness. Generally, they consider everything a weakness, so they just smile to you while they stick a knife in your back. It's kind of that type of personality where you just don't feel it's really being sincere, really being emotionally deep and really connecting. But it is at the same time extremely good, doing individual things on an extremely high level. So you kind of understand why it's so expensive. So yeah, it's a bit like being friends with Ted Bundy, or because it's disturbingly good, very convincing in many ways, and a bit like one of those TV series villains in that series of Columbo, Detective Columbo series from I think the 70s and 80s, and a lot of people like that. I find that to some degree very appealing. I just find that it just doesn't last, so you can listen to all the different types of music that's out there. So yeah, a very good and impressive, technically sound brand that does a lot of things that's just disturbingly good, but just kind of turning out to be antisocial and on a very intelligent level. And that's the problem I have with the sound. So I think it's just a type of religion where you're a type of person that likes a certain type of thing and you consider it natural. So yeah, this is me telling the review from a very personal standpoint, and I know a lot of reviewers won't do this. They'll kind of look at everything like detail and technically impressive and stuff like that. I look past that. I look at the personality of the speaker, and also the lack of personality. And I feel that this is just a speaker that's really impressive in many ways. It's just not my cup of tea. And I think, though, that a lot of people would really like it. And if they like it, that's totally fine, because it is very impressive. The amount of detail that you get out of these monsters is really impressive. But there comes a personality, a flow with it that I just don't like. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys in understanding the Wilson audio sound. And I think it's a lot like people who like MIT cables, people who like the traditional Macintosh transistor sound at the very top, where you have the preamp with the big monoblocks, and especially when you combine that with MIT cables. It's that type of thing, that sort of manly coolness and antisocial type of hi-fi sound, which also to some degree I really like a lot. So it's very tempting. It's very tempting indeed. Just imagine. I think a lot of people, like, if you were to be like, let's just say that you were born in some place of the world, and you were taken care of, and you had like a mobster family, and you know everything was good financially, you wouldn't have any love in your life really, any true understanding and connectedness, if you were like filthy rich. I'm talking most probably, but in a way you would kind of be happy, if you know what I mean. You would have all the riches and everything that you could afford, but still, you know, to some degree, you wouldn't really be deeply happy. But it would be one hell of a ride, very impressive, and I feel that's a lot like Wilson Audio. You know, it's very impressive, very impressive. But are you that type of person that wants to listen to that? Some are, some aren't. Whatever. That's my interpretation of how I um, hear the Wilson Audio sound. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe. Bye.